this recipe and all the other recipes that we've done either in the past and coming up, you can find them on my website at chefscottblair.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is chefscottblair99, and you can also find me on YouTube as well. So historical of all of the videos that we've done in the past are there, and then of course on Twitch TV. So check me out. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you're looking for and what you want to do. But these are some great ways to follow along with me. This weekend we are actually doing a Father's Day brunch practice. So we're going to do this for this weekend, and this is for you to practice this weekend. As the next weekend it goes off without a hitch for when you're doing something for Dad. I'm a dad, so and I actually got my two cameramen, which were my boys. So we want next weekend off to chill out and have a good time together. So that's why we're doing it this weekend, a little ahead of time. So let's do a quick flyby over, guys, and show everything that we've got. Once again, I separated in two different parts. On this side, we're looking at the rolled oats. And as far as the oatmeal pancakes that we're going to be making, Scottish oatmeal pancakes, it's Scottish, coming from the old country, from my heritage. I'm using steel cut oats just because I like a little bit more texture, a little bit more bite when I'm doing this. But you can use just standard oats if you wish. But if you're going for more organic, this is another little option you can do. Over here I have some self-rising flour. The thing is if you can't find self-rising flour inside the store, you can make it at home very easy. It's literally 1 cup of flour to 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and then you sift it together, and now you have self-rising flour. And then I have our baking soda, 2 eggs, nice lemons, some lemon zest. We're going to use the lemon juice and the lemon zest, heavy cream, and that's what we'll use and also honey. That's what we'll use to build our batter for the oatmeal cakes. And then on this side, we've got our peaches, our peach workup. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways of dealing with peaches. The recipe I gave you is like very old school. It's very old school where you're putting it inside water, and if you guys want to cruise on over here, I'll show you. This takes some time, but you're basically boiling these until the skin is so soft that you see it's starting to peel on the outside there. You're going to pull it out of there. You're going to drop it in, shock it in some cold water. So anybody's ever done like canning of tomatoes, a concassé tomato, where you crisscross with an X on top with your knife, just a light score through the skin, and then you're dropping it into hot water just to basically release the skin and boil it off. I just wanted to show you that's the very old school way of doing it, and as you see, it does suck some of the flavor and such out of those peaches. You can see the color and everything inside the water. We'll actually retain a little bit of this water, so when we actually make our syrups, instead of just dropping straight water into our syrup that we're making, we're going to use the peach water. Another way that I'm going to show you today, let's go back over here to our fun playground, is another way we're going to show you how to do these peaches. But let's go through the ingredients. So we got peaches, we got 8 ounces of sugar, something that's near and dear to my heart, Scotch. Everyone's got to love the Scotch. Do not go out and buy a $150 or $200 bottle of single malt to do this. If you do, I'll cry, because anytime that in the world when we use essence or alcohol, we don't do very high-end alcohols in the kitchen. I mean, it's usually a very medium tier, like even with wines, it's usually a box wine inside our kitchens. So don't go out and sell the farm and buy something very expensive. This is just, you could even use it, if you're looking for a cheap Scotch, like Inverhouse. I know that it's a very cheap Scotch. It's something that you're just, you're just going to cook off and you want the flavors and the essence. But try not to go out and spend something extremely expensive for something you're going to cook off. So we got our sugar, our peaches, our Scotch, and then our peach water. That's going to be the main pieces of the puzzles for the peaches itself, and creating the actual syrup And then, of course, we got some powdered sugar, 10x sugar or whatever, confectioner, and then some vanilla, and then some heavy cream to make the whipped cream on top. So this will be a pretty quick recipe. But if you're at home and follow along, if you're cooking right along with us, go ahead and get your water boiling for your peaches if this is the way you want to do it. And like I said, the other option I'm going to show you is taking your peaches, and I have a Swiss peeler. And if you don't have one of these, go out and buy one, because they are awesome. They cut real thin. The one thing about when you're looking for a slicer is something that doesn't take a lot of the meat. You just want basically the skin of the vegetable or whatever you're peeling. So these do a really great job. And what I'm just going to do is just do a peel around and just peel off the skin. Lightly peel off the skin. Like I said, these Swiss peelers are very sharp, so they cut right through it very quick and easy. The other thing is, I'm impatient. And since I'm impatient, I don't want to sit there all day waiting to boil off skin off of peaches and lose flavor and lose time. And so any way I can do it to shorten my life as far as prep time and making things easier, I am going to do that. So all I'm doing is just peeling off these bad boys. Get these skins off. If you're at home and you're wanting to do the old style with boiling skin, go ahead and start boiling up the water right now. And like I said, what you're going to do is, if you have some really soft peaches, which is ideal as far as doing the boiling the skin off, is really soft, easy going peaches, is you want to score just basically a little X on top. And that will give you a place to start from. Once it starts peeling away, you can actually just start peeling it off, using your your little paring knife, and just peel it right off. So I just put a little score in there, a little X. I do the same thing with tomatoes. So when you're doing tomatoes for canning, just going to go ahead and peel off these. See, this one's very, very juicy. So I'm also doing this over a cutting board, so any kind of drippings I got, I can save. I can actually add it back in. Alright, got a little peach party going on here. Just gotta scrape this stuff up and 86 it. Put all my peeled peaches. I've already went ahead and peeled one. This was actually the first one I peeled out of the water. Once the skin started releasing, I just used my slicer and basically just peeled it off real nice and easy. We've got the other one still resting in the water, but in the meantime, let's begin the process of getting our oats rocking and rolling. So I got my saucepan, and I'm going to start off with my heavy cream. Straight in. I want to bring this up to a quick rapid boil and then add in my oats, boil this off. I am going to put a little pinch of salt in there to bring out some of the sweetness, and then once we bring these oats to a boil, reduce it down to a simmer to start bringing in some of that liquid, and then I'm just going to let it bring down to room temperature and soften off those oats. And then we'll bring it to the next level, which is transferring everything into a mixing bowl and beginning to make our pancakes. We get that rocking. So we have, it's like, I'm sorry? Michaela. is online. How you doing? Where are you calling us from? So just so everyone over in Twitch land, if you want to know what we're doing here, we do double streams. So on one side I'm doing Twitch with you guys. On the other side I'm doing a Google Meet. So if you want to be a part of the cooking, hang out with us, talk to us, show us what you're doing. Let me know. I'll send you out a link to go on Google Meets when we send these out every week. And then if you were to just watch and use the instant messaging capabilities, then that's where Twitch will come through. So jump on there and you can send us your messages, ask questions, and so forth. Sorry, do some housekeeping here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Alright. So, already starting to get a little bit of heat in here, which is good. I'm gonna, like I said, boil off those oats. We're gonna be, as the oats are working, I'm gonna work on slicing down these peaches. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get these down into some nice little slices, as well as some of the other pieces of the puzzle that we're gonna need to make the actual Scottish pancakes. Alright, so while that's boiling up, getting hot, so we can get ready to go and do our peaches, or excuse me, our oatmeal, I'm going to take our peaches. So the peaches, they have the nice, this is a stone fruit, so you're going to have a stone inside there. And basically all I'm going to do is just cut around the stone. If anybody ever deals with mangoes, this is another process, just like before. And I'm just going to be cutting these away so we can get some pieces, right? So once you cut them away, you can do slices. All I'm doing is just throwing those slices into this little group of peaches that we got. I'm going to cut all the way around this. And as the season goes on, we are still pretty early in the season. As the season goes on, these peaches will be super soft and super sugary, which is what we really want to do. But we're going to be adding enough sugar to this. 8 ounces of sugar coming its way. So these will get pretty sweet just naturally, just from the sugars that we're adding in. So don't let it worry you too much. If you're like, oh, these are a little too firm, don't worry about it, because we're adding enough sugar to make this sweet. If you don't want to use strawberry or peaches, you can use other fruit. You can do this with apples. You can do this with strawberries. You can do it with pears, whatever fruit that your fancy is. This is basically an old school compote or compote, which is almost like making a relish kind of deal. Classical French style. And so if you can't get, I actually had someone email me yesterday saying I can't get peaches in my area right now, which is fine. So go for apples, go for pears, any kind of firmer fruit, and of course, you can also do the softer fruits. You can do berries if you want. It's just going to be less time inside the syrup. You don't want to break it down too much, as well as strawberries. But there's a number of ways that you guys can utilize this recipe to do different ingredients. Alrighty. Woo! Alright. around a nice little rapid boil. And in goes my oats. Gonna bring these things up to a nice boil. Start reducing some of that liquid that's in there. Reduce it down to a simmer. Reduce it down to a simmer, and then once I get to that nice point where the texture where I want it to be, whatever your fancy is, if you want it softer or whatever. Like I said, I like a little bit of firmness to it, so give it a little bit of bite since I'm also topping it with syrup and everything else. I don't want it to be extremely mushy, and then so I'm just going to reduce it down, and then once I get to that level, turn it off the heat and let it sit there until I get to room temperature, and then we can just flash forward straight into making the cakes. So we're going to let that boil off. Let's get back here to the party that we got rocking here. So other things that we can be doing. Well, if your peaches are coming off, as far as this one here. So if I'm peeling peaches the rest of the day or the rest of the morning, that's my prerogative. You see here, I'm just taking my knife. I'm just literally scraping the skin off, like so. So just releasing the skin from the surface of that peach. Just taking it right off, leaving that fleshy yumminess. You see, it doesn't take that much to take it right off now. So I mean, it just slides right off. This isn't like super hard, but it does take time. So like I said, if you wanted to do a different option, like I said, I've shown you 2 ways of doing this, getting the fruit to to where you want it to be for whatever you want to use it for. So you have choices. I'm all about the choice. All right. We can dump that skin. Don't need it. On. Alright. So I'm just gonna, just like before, just take this right off that stone. Boom. Like so. Turn these around. Let's get some nice slices out of it. Boom. So now I got all my peaches. I'm ready to do that. Fantastic. So other things that you need. We're going to need to work on our lemon. From getting everything from getting juice to our zest. I've already zested, but here's a nice thing that you can use. So this is what we call a microplane. So anybody out there in the world, microplane. All you want to do is basically take, we want the zest off, right? So I've already done some zesting on this, but there's still some yellow left. So you're just going to roll it, slice it right over the top of this peach, anywhere there's yellow. And you want to go just right before you start to get into the pit. You don't want all that white, right? So all that pit brings bitterness. You're using the zest for the oils, and when you are actually cooking, and once you eat these pancakes, you'll actually taste the zest inside these, which makes it really awesome. Nice, refreshing little bit of flavor. Now I microplaned it. All I'm doing is just putting this on my side bowl here. Don't be afraid if you wanted to do this over the bowl with the oats in here. Knock yourself out. But we're also going to, once we get the zest that we want, I'm actually going to roll out that lemon. Start smashing it out, make it nice and soft and squishy. All right. So I can, here in a bit, we'll use it and we'll juice. We'll do some juice. We can just add some juice in here now. All I'm doing is just trying to capture some of those seeds. that. Grab my trusty serving plating spoon. Grab one little seed that dropped in there. We don't need you. So now we got our lemon juice. Just gonna hold that off to the side. Let's go back over here and let's take a peek on our oats. Oh yeah. So now I'm reducing this down. And I'm gonna turn it off at this point. And we're just gonna let this, just like rice, I'm gonna let it steam. It's off the heat. It's gonna go into steam mode. We're gonna get that nice and soft. Alright. Now we got that going. I think it's time that we start working on a little bit of Scotch sauce with some peaches. I don't know about you guys. It's 11:23 and Scotch in the morning.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Exactly. Okie dokie. I'm gonna get ready to roll into this Scotch sauce. Have a little bit of fun with it. Alright. So I'm gonna take my 8 ounces of sugar. I'm gonna place it right inside there. Like so, right? Now it's going to tell you to do 8 tablespoons of water. So I'm just going to use some of this sugar water, this peach water that I got rocking here. Alright, so we want this like wet sand consistency, as you can see here. So we're going to turn this into a caramel sauce. Going over medium heat. Sugar water.
It's like that scene from Men in Black.
Yes.
More sugar.
More sugar. Give me sugar.
No, that was from the first one.
Yeah.
With the bug guy.
That's right. Bug guy. Yeah. More sugar.
What?
Alright. I'm going to move this out of the way. Give us some room. Some working room. It's still steaming. Still steaming. Getting hot in there. Has it moved?
I think it has.
Basically what I'm going to do is heat this up. I want to dissolve this sugar, start reducing it a little bit, and then we're going to hit it with, I think I said something like 6 teaspoons of the goodness, the Scotch. We'll see if we can get that accurate, but might be a little bit more on our end. Because we like to have fun here. And it's brunch, and it's Father's Day brunch. And Dad deserves a little bit of specialness, right? This is like turning into a nice little candy sugar, right? I'm going to let that slowly change color. A lot of times when you're working with it, when you're doing sugar work like this, don't play around with it too much. The more that you slosh it up on the sides, what can happen is you can actually turn this into one big crystal, and it'll like instantaneously go boom and go crystallize all the way across, and there's no way of getting it back. So just letting it go. Another old school trick that we used to do with sugar work, having a brush and some water. You can dip it, and then you can roll the brush around the outside of it, just dropping some of the sugar down. Pro tip. While you watch that, I'm going to grab this over here and do a little quick check, and get ready to move on to our next step. Woo! Look at the steam. It's so dreamy and steamy. That's what we like. Right on. So we're going to get ready to build these pancakers. Another pro tip for you guys. If you make the pancake batter the night before, throw it in your reefer, and it'll get creamier as you go. The longer you put it in the refrigerator overnight, it gets creamier. Ooh. I'm going to reduce that heat a little bit. I don't want to burn it, but I want to get a caramelization and get some color to it, which is why we're making that syrup. All right. Here very soon we're going to get ready to add our peaches into this party. And then of course the go-go juice here, which is going to be fantastically yummy, of our Scotch. Any Scotch drinkers out there, let me know. And you can also do this with bourbon. You can do this with Tennessee whiskey. Any kind of essence that you want. If you want to do a little anisette, you could. If you want a little bit of licorice flavor in the background, each their own little flavor. You can challenge yourself and do it with different essence, which is always fun to do. But you know, don't let the recipe always just dictate everything you do. Feel free about yourself and be able to go ahead and do things that, you know, enjoy yourself. We're here to have fun. We're here to cook and enjoy life, and this is what it's all about. So you can see now it's starting to get nice and thick. The viscosity on this is getting really thick now. You can see it's almost looking like corn syrup, right? Starting to get that real thickness to it, which is what we want. And you know, as you cook it, it will change colors because it'll start to caramelize out. We'll also force it with a little bit of extra color from the peaches, as well as with the adding the Scotch, which has a brown color anyhow. Will also help change that color as well. But I want to reduce this down just a little bit more to get thicker, because I am going to reintroduce liquids to it, such as the liquids that is in the peach juice, as well as the Scotch. So I don't want to turn this into one big soupy, watery mess, right? But once we put that in, we're going to let it reduce down a little bit more as well. So, gotta roll of oats. Alright, my mixing bowl. I'm going to add my oatmeal. I just cooked off. Like I said, mine's a little bit bigger texture just because I'm using rolled oats. I'm not using just your straight oatmeal parfait, if you will. So, best case scenario, do it room temperature. Let this cool down to room temperature. But I'm not going to make you guys stay on here for the next hour trying to wait for this to simmer down. So I'm going to go ahead and just build it right here as is. So what we're going to need to build our batter, our self-rising flour, so whether you bought it or whether you made it at home, we're going to use half a cup of that. So that's going to go in. We're going to need our Arm & Hammer baking soda. That's like a quarter of a teaspoon that's going in there. So I'm adding that in. Lemon zest. I like to have it. It gives it color, it gives it flavors, brings the oils out, makes it tasty. So that's going to go in. As well as our juice, lemon juice. Add that in. And dos eggs. Dos huevos. 2 eggs. There's 1. There's 2. Got a little piece in there. If you ever get a piece of egg in there, just use the shell and pull it right out. It actually adheres to it real quick. Alright, so before I go and do that, our syrup is just about there. I don't want to seize it. I'm going to bring this down to a low simmer. I'm going to start adding in our peaches into it. Alright. And then goes the peaches. Tasty. I'm just going to lightly stir this around with those peaches in there, right? You see, it's getting nice and syrupy. It's thick. It's going to start extracting some of the colors out of here. Like I said, I'm on low heat, just letting it purge some of those juices out of the nice peaches, getting them out. And you can see right there, it's starting to do a nice little color, right? Starting to get that nice peach color, extracting some of those flavors out. I'm going to let that cook just for about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to add in the Scotch. Gonna have some Scotch. It's gonna be delish. Alright, in the meantime, go back to making our pancake batter. Scottish oats. Boom. So I'm gonna start mixing all this together. And like I told you before, if you do this the night before, throw it inside your refrigerator. As it cools, make sure you cover it with plastic wrap. As it cools, it will actually, steam off a little bit more and get even creamier. So now we can make little big cakes. Other variations I've done with this. I've done chopped pecans inside here. I've actually put brown sugar inside this as well, just to give it a little bit more fun. So feel free to put almost like if you're making a bowl of oatmeal, you make your own little flavors. You throw blueberries in here, whatever, and to make it inside your cakes that we're going to be doing. So no one's going to tell you you did something wrong. Enjoy, have fun. That's what it's all about, is having a little bit of fun in the kitchen. Alright, so I got my trusty dusty cast iron. I don't go anywhere without it. I love my cast iron. It's the greatest cooking tool I've ever had in my life. If you don't have cast iron, get you one. It's worth the investment. They're not that expensive, but once you got them and you season them properly, they last a long time. Oh, we almost forgot our honey there, boys. So I want to say it's 2 tablespoons of honey. So that's going to go in there. I just squeezed some honey into that oatmeal. And I'm going to mix it in. Just make sure it's coating all through there. I want it dispersed throughout. All right. Alright, let's do that. While my cast iron is heating up, I'm going to do a quick little savory taste. Always taste your stuff. Good, good, good. Just going to add a little pinch of salt. Not much. Just give it a little bit more flavor and also help bring out the sweetness a little bit more. I don't want to go too crazy with the sweetness because, like I said, we got this syrup going on over here. So let's take a peek at our syrup. Look at that. Now it's starting to smooth out nice. This is actually right up here. If you look at this, this is the other syrup. And see how it's starting to crystallize. So if you're playing around with it, and you can actually turn this into one big crystal. And that's exactly what happened. This is just from the bottom of the spoon that was sitting up here. But we got that going on in there. It's gonna, like I said, I'm still on a simmer. I'm gonna get ready to add our Scotch, our luscious Scotch. All right. So, as I said, I think the recipe called for like 6 teaspoons or something like that. Be very gentle and delicate with you when you're adding the essence. You don't want to, oh God, drop a whole lot in there. That's probably like a double shot. Oh shucks, it's gonna really taste good now. Oh darn. So now I'm just gonna let that simmer off and keep reducing down a little bit because I did add alcohol to it. And if, you know, if you don't want all the alcohol in there, this is not a flambe, so at home, don't turn this into a flambe. I don't want to hear that someone caught their kitchen on fire. Okay, you want to just let that reduce down. The alcohol will steam and cook off. All right, so that's a big important thing that everyone needs to look at right now. So that's going to reduce down. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to get ready to do ice water. We're going to get ready to do our pancakes, our Scottish oatmeal cakes. Get the tools of the trade. Gonna need my cast iron, which is heating up. Gonna need a metal spatula. When you're dealing with cast iron, don't use a plastic spatula. It will melt right through that bad boy. Use a nice plastic one. So, nice metal one, yes. I am going to add in my butter and reduce my heat a little bit. Because I don't want to just burn the heck out of everything. What we're doing is going to be working on making a nice light crust on the outside of this oatmeal pancakes. Oatmeal conch. So I'm going to grab a nice portion. We're going to add it in. Come on, baby. There we go. Let those party up. How's all peaches looking?
They look drunk.
They look drunk. These are drunken peaches. They're not going to pass today's field sobriety test. It's going to be just a horrible day for Mr. Peaches. Mr. and Mrs. Peaches. You can actually see that crystal now. Right there. That
is the kiss of death when you're working with sugar. You start getting the crystal all the way through, it'll actually ruin the whole thing. Bum, bum, bum. How's it smelling? Is smell-o-vision activated?
Always. Smells like Scotch and peaches.
Smells like freedom. Scotch and peaches.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
I went for Mel Gibson to come out and
It's
sword
a little-
painted face.
The Patriot.
Yes. No, that would be Braveheart. It is a
Brave-
Scottish meal after
Oh,
all.
I guess Braveheart.
It is a Scottish meal after all. My freedom.
I guess so,
Same,
yeah.
same
yeah.
real difference there. Honestly.
Yeah.
So you see, still a little soft, but they're starting to firm up. All right. Beautiful thing about a nicely seasoned, a properly seasoned cast iron, stuff doesn't stick. It'll be the best nonstick pan you'll ever have in your life. You don't need any of that Teflon stuff, which ends up peeling off, giving you the Teflon flu. Don't need that. All right. Before I go into my last part, we are going to be doing our whipped cream. So, little pro tip for you before you go and do whipped creams. Everything's got to be cold. You want it as cold as possible, right? So what we always do, I'll take my tongs or my whisk, whatever I'm using. This is a lot easier with a very large whisk, if you will. Long, big, huge, light little whisk itself, because the lighter the whisk is, the faster it whips and the more volume you get out of your cream. But we're going to use this. We're going to use this bowl to whisk it in. I'm going to actually take the bowl and everything and put it inside my refrigerator. Get it chilled. So when I come back and put the heavy cream inside there with all my sugar and my vanilla and anything else I'm going to be putting in there, it will drop in temperature or warm up in temperature. So in order to make sure that it stays cold and you can whip it quickly, put everything inside the reach in. Ooh! So I'm just flipping these bad boys. Got some beautiful color on them. You see there? And they do pop up a bit, just like a pancake will, because you have that baking soda and baking powder in there. That will actually make it rise and be fluffy, as you can see here. They're pretty light and airy. Once the heat activates it, it blooms, right? And that's what you're looking for. All right. Oh boy. What we got? Oh, hold on. Let me check this out. Ooh, bang. Excuse me, son. Out of my way.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What we always do here is we do Scooby snacks for the film crew. There's one for you. Don't burn yourself. Señor Nico de enjoy. What do you think of that? Is that tasty? Succulent? Delicious?
Definitely taste the essence in there.
What do you think?
We can put this in an old fashioned, right?
Put it in an old fashioned? Yeah, why not? Make your own little. This would make it actually
Pretty good old fashioned.
Well, they make a great drink.
Whiskey sour?
Well, no, it would be a great drink base. So you can actually take this and you can blend it up if you wanted to, and then hit it with bourbon later on. Make yourself, a fun little drink.
All we're missing is the Sprite for the old fashioned.
All right, that one's done. One's done. One's done. Gonna add me a little bit of butter. Butter makes everything better, except for your heart. If you had too much of that butter.
Yeah, just do some running.
There you go. Run. Go exercise it up, guys. I'm a big believer in, everything in moderation. Place this down. And now 3. Our peaches are coming along. They're looking good. Looking savory. Awesome. There we go. So, I'm going to get ready to pull out the, when this is finished up, I'm going to pull out the mixing bowl that we've got in the refrigerator. You can actually put that mixing bowl like an hour before you even do any of this into the refrigerator, and it'll be just fine. I'm going to pull that out. My heavy cream. So I'm going to put about 8 ounces in there. I'm going to go true crazy. And with my pound of sugar, it's about, I do about 3 teaspoons, nothing major. And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. And start mixing it up. This is the test of champions. This is where you have to start beating the crap out of it until you get there to what you want. The nice smooth consistencies. We'll show our nice little frothy peaks at the top. If you got a blender, use it. If you got a hand mixer, use it. If you got a larger whisk, definitely use that. But you can see here, we're throwing this together for morning. It's going to just take me a few minutes to get there. You can see it's starting to thicken up. When we used to prep on the weekends at the private chef deal, I always have to do all the whipped cream by hand. So, yeah, and we'd always do huge amounts of stuff, and it's just like felt like I spent like 3 hours doing nothing but whisking. So, nice peaks, looking good. Womp womp. Nice stiff peaks. That would be going on top of our yumminess. I'm gonna put that back in the refrigerator and hold it until we're ready to check out our cakes. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Looking delish. Some nice color, nice flavor. So our peaches are looking yummy. So, next weekend, when it's El Father's Day, cook it with him. Have him have fun with you, you know? It's always a good time whenever we do celebrations and stuff here. We always are in the kitchen cooking with each other. So, do the same thing at home, you know? Cook with the pops. Have a little bit of fun. Enjoy your time. Excuse me. Mmm. Perfect. Almost lost it. Alright, so I'm just going to get one more batch going here. And we're going to, while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and plate up. And show you how you can have fun with it. And goes the butter. Hmm?
Three banana cream pies.
And you go. You go. Smack it around. And then you go. Alright.
You have enough room for that small piece on the side there.
Sure.
Force them there.
Why
What's
not?
the matter?
Let's just get it done, right?
Yeah, man.
It's all about the
No sense in
eating.
just cooking the one.
That's right, it's all about the eating and having fun. Alright. In you go. Alright. Let's do it over here, gentlemen. Have a little bit of fun when you're plating, right? Do some other fresh fruit. Like here, I've got some beautiful blackberries I picked up. So, I mean, you could do a lineup of the potato or the oatmeal cakes if you want. You do 2, you do 3, whatever your fancy is. Line it up like so. And then we got this wonderful peach syrup and sauce. Smell that alcohol. That'd be good. You can smell that scotch in there.
Yes, you can.
It's fantastic. Just gonna add these right over these cakes. Some of that nice yummy syrup inside there. Alright, so there's that. The last bit, the last piece de resistance is that whipped cream. Take our whipped cream. I'm going to put a nice dollop on there, right? Have some fun. That is the Scottish oatmeal cakes with peaches and a Scotch sauce and whipped cream. It's a hearty breakfast, and that's going to make Dad feel good all day long. So make this as a brunch next week. Enjoy. Like I said, this recipe and other ones you can find at chefscottblair.com. Follow me on YouTube under Chef Scott Blair. Instagram is Chef Scott Blair 99, and then always here on Twitch. Next weekend we're taking the weekend off because it is Father's Day. I'm going to choose to spend it with my boys and my family. And but while you're out there, you know, find this recipe, cook it off, take some pictures, send me pictures, and we'll post it on my website and we'll show what everyone's doing out in the community. And until then, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all again in a week from now. So have a great weekend next weekend.